If you've spent years in your marriage or long-term relationship thinking you were doing everything right, but still never felt respected or appreciated, then we need to talk. Most men don't realize they've taught their wives to take them for granted. The same behaviors that make you dependable often kill attraction and intimacy. And it's not that you were weak or doing anything obviously wrong, but you fell into patterns that made you easy to count on and unfortunately easy to overlook. I know this story well because I used to do it too. And before we get into it, I want to acknowledge that yes, some women are emotionally immature, entitled, or simply not capable of showing up in a healthy way. And if that's your situation, nothing I say here is going to fix it. This video isn't about blaming men for their wives' issues. But that's not most marriages or long-term relationships. Most of the time, you're a good man, you show up, you work hard, you try to be the husband you thought she needed. And somewhere along the way, you disappeared. You didn't stop loving her, you just stopped being seen. And the hardest part, you did it to yourself. Quietly, slowly, repeatedly. First, I'll explain how this happens, and later I'll walk through how to start showing up differently without games or manipulation. Here's how you might have lost yourself. You became permanently available. She never has to wonder where you are or what you're up to because your time, attention, and energy are always right there, ready for her. And you thought that kind of access would bring you closer, but what it built was predictability. And too much predictability kills polarity. Presence without absence just becomes background noise. You confuse being useful with being wanted. You became the fixer, the scheduler, the dependable one. And there's nothing wrong with being useful. But if that's all you are, then you're replaceable. Reliability isn't the same as presence. Being needed isn't the same as being felt. One gets things done, the other stirs something inside her. And sometimes being useful is just a strategy to avoid rejection. It works, but at the cost of desire. You disappeared into the marriage. Your friendships faded, your hobbies merged with hers. Your identity got swallowed up by us, and you thought that was intimacy, but it was actually absorption. You stopped being someone she could rediscover because you stopped existing outside her orbit. You stopped initiating, not just sex, but life, conversation, direction. You became passive, a man who waits instead of leads. But initiation is masculine energy. Without it, you're not creating momentum, you're just reacting. And women don't crave men who drift. You became a yes man to avoid her emotions. You agreed to things you didn't want. You went along with plans that didn't work for you. You avoided her frustration like it was a fire you couldn't survive. But men who fear emotion become controlled by it. You don't earn peace by surrendering your spine. You earn contempt. You chose her comfort over your own self-respect. Whenever there was tension, you backed down, not because you were wrong, but because you didn't want her to be upset. But as you may have heard me say before, love without self-respect isn't intimacy, it's caretaking. And when you consistently show her that your dignity is negotiable, she starts believing you. And if you're getting value from this so far, please support the channel by liking the video. Thank you. I appreciate it. You stopped having opinions. You became easygoing, low drama, accommodating, but really you became neutral, absent, forgettable. You trained yourself not to want anything too much because wanting creates friction. But friction is where depth comes from. And without it, you're not in a relationship. You're in a polite agreement. You lost your edge. Maybe you let your appearance go. But more than that, you lost your energy, your hunger, your direction. When a man stops growing, he starts shrinking in his own eyes and hers. Because what she fell in love with wasn't your stability. It was your fire, your drive, your forward motion. So this is what really happened. You started shrinking more to make her comfortable. You softened your truth, edited your presence, erased your edge. You thought you were being loving, but really you were avoiding being fully seen. She didn't fall in love with your ability to vanish. She fell in love with your gravity, your certainty and distinct way of seeing the world. And when you erase those things, you erase the very qualities that made her feel pulled toward you. Gentlemen, you can't nice your way into passion. You can't people please your way into respect. You can't shrink your way into being seen. So if you see yourself in any of these patterns, what can you do now? Well, you don't win her attention back by becoming louder. You get it back by becoming real again. No games, no cold shoulders, no manipulative strategies, no dishonesty. Just stop hiding. Reclaim your time. Stop being available for everything. Make plans that don't include her. Start initiating ideas, experiences, intimacy, direction. Be the source of motion again. Have opinions. Want something and stand for it. Value respect over comfort. Speak your truth, even if it unsettles her. Embrace friction. Not every disagreement is a threat. Sometimes it's a sign that two full people are still in the room. Invest in yourself, not to become someone for her, but for you. Lead. Stop waiting for permission. Move toward your life. Invite her along or don't. You can't demand appreciation, but you can live in a way that commands it, calmly, clearly, and without apology. Because when you start seeing yourself again, everything shifts. Not because she changed, but because you did. The man you've been hiding is still there. It's time to decide whether to keep suppressing him or to let him live his truth. Let me know what your experience has been in being taken for granted in relationships. And if this resonated with you, be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.